You know what? For myself, I got to let out the biggest news that I'm in the finale.
Sure.
You know, so that was nice. If I had to wait until this week, that would kind of kill me. But at least I could say I'm in the finale. The opponent, you know, either guy is going to be a hard fight. You know, they're both really skilled and really tough. So you know, I can kind of just talk freely about being here and the excitement of all that. And you know, it's a little bit on me. But even if they knew my opponent, you know, what's friends and family going to say? They're going to say you're going to kick his butt, right? So you know what? It's not that hard not talking about my opponent. It's more just exciting, embracing all the excitement around me being in the finale.
Yeah, that must almost make it easier in a way, right? Because you're not getting all these questions about, you know, style matchups and all that. You can just focus purely on yourself, right?
Yeah, but like no matter who you fight, you should be kind of focusing on yourself almost. Like any camp I go in, it's to make me the best me possible, and that's what I've done this camp. So you know, it's not like I'm holding much back. I'm just holding back a name, and that's pretty about it.
Did you spend this entire camp at SBG Ireland?
Yeah, I did. I spent 1 week in Portugal at the Shinobi Academy, where Colin Byrne runs the Conor McGregor Fast program. So I got a rundown of that early on in my camp, and since then we built a detailed plan. As soon as I got off the show, talked to John, and he set a plan in place, and you know, we had so much time to prepare. I'm used to having 4 weeks to prepare for a fight. Oh, you want to fight this guy on this show? Sure. Or even on being on The Ultimate Fighter, you have 3 days. You're going to be on soon. So you know, having 10 to 12 weeks is awesome. I got to do an actual pro camp.
What was that experience like, just being there? Obviously, you know, one of the great gyms in MMA.
You know, it's reassuring that you're doing everything you can possible to win it. You know, I'm working with the best conditioning team. I mean, Conor could have gone with anybody, and he chose this team. And when you're fighting for $100 million, you know, you can get anybody you really want. So for having that confidence and seeing the gains he made from the first Diaz fight to the second one, it obviously works. And then working with the best training partners and the best coach in the game, you know, it's really reassuring that I'm doing everything in my power to perform Friday night.
How often was Conor around the last few weeks and months?
I haven't seen him much, but I know he trains at different times than most people. So, you know, when you're Conor, you can kind of make your camp around you. So I'm sure he's training. Like I'm sure all of us athletes love it. So I'm sure he's in the gym.
I know you've gotten this question a couple times. You're from Canada. People have asked about your accent. What is the origin of this accent?
So I'm not faking anything. Watch an interview with me a year ago. I talked very similar, you know, very similar. Maybe something slightly changed, but I don't think so. Like, I hear interviews with me now, and nothing's changed. I've just always talked like this my entire life. When I was young, I'd point at things my brother would talk for me, and so I didn't develop, you know, speech like the rest of the kids. Went to speech therapy, and then I came out talking like this, fake Irish accent, I guess. So, you know what? It's something I've had questions about my entire life. You know, sitting down for a haircut, being like, "Oh, where are you from?" And like Winnipeg, you know. But yeah, it's just something I've always had, and you know, any attention's good attention.
Faking an accent sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it seems too hard. Just like faking a personality, like in front of the cameras, I just try to be me. You know what I mean? And it's too much work to put on a show the entire time. So you know, I couldn't talk like this. You catch me in the hall talking a different way if that was the case. But this is how I talk. So we'll see if it changes in time, though.
If you win, you would be the first Canadian to win the Ultimate Fighter that's not on a Canadian branded episode, edition of the show. What would that mean to you?
That would mean a lot. You know. It was just Canada's birthday. It was just Canada Day on July 1st on Sunday, so it would be a belated birthday present to the country, I hope. You know, I'm proud to represent Canada. I'm proud to represent the SBG team as well there in Ireland, and you know, being the first Canadian to win a regular Ultimate Fighter would be huge.
You just mentioned, you know, speech difficulties growing up and stuff. What was that like dealing with that as a child? Did that lead to, you know, some tough times maybe, or what was it like?
There was no tough times from it. I grew up like a normal kid. I talked. I was a little shyer than most for a good chunk of my life, but I think when I found martial arts, I started gaining more confidence, and you know, and then I was a little bit more outgoing. I was always kind of the nerdy kid all through at least junior high, and then high school I was the nerdy kid who also fought, which was a weird mix. But yeah, it's never. It wasn't like it was something I've ever had to overcome. You know what I mean? I went to speech therapy when I was young. I still remember it, and like it wasn't a big obstacle or anything.
When you mentioned, you know, the nerdy kid that also fought, was that a product of like bullying, or was that like in the gym just doing martial arts and stuff?
So I started jiu-jitsu around 14, which was when I was entering high school. So at that point I was competing in grappling tournaments, and then that turned into kickboxing and boxing and everything. So it wasn't so much bullying, I was just the kid who did these combat sports, but also was in calculus class, you know. So it was, yeah, I wasn't the one getting bullied per se, or doing the bullying, obviously. But yeah, it was that weird dynamic of that tough kid who's wearing the glasses and going to calculus.
It seems like you've embraced that persona. You took the picture with Roxy. You have an engineering degree, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
So it seems like that persona is kind of true to who you are.
You know what it is. Like there's definitely some dorkier, nerdier people out there. I'm not full into it, but like, you know, I enjoy science, and it was really cool seeing Roxanne. Like, she came up to me and introduced herself, and for me to be introduced by, you know, someone who just fought for a world title, that's huge. And I remember watching her when I believe it was the bantamweight series, and how everyone was overlooking her, and then she comes back, and you know, she had a lot of success recently. So you know, it was very cool to see someone from a veteran in the sport come up and actually recognize you. It's just been quite the trip.
From watching the show, I guess the fights of the different contestants on the show before the show started, I thought the two best fighters in your division were the two guys that you beat, which was Kyler and Bryce Mitchell. Did you feel that way too? Do you think that you've already faced the best competition on the show?
You know, when I was looking at them on paper, yeah, those were definitely two names that I was thinking about. Like, these are going to be tough guys. Actually, the four were Bryce, Kyler, Tyler, and then also Jay. Just because I know what the European circuit's like right now, and it's very hot, you know. Just training with the guys who are amateurs out there and pros, and seeing the level out there. So I kind of had my eye on those four guys, and I knew Jay was also gritty. He had the intangibles of a good or great fighter. So those were the four guys I had my eyes on, and I'm happy that I was able to take out two, and I'm going to take out a third.
This fight that's going to air tonight between Jay and Tyler is absolutely ridiculous. What did you think watching that, and what do you take away? You know, a guy that's able to, you know, have a huge first round, you know, maybe go through a 10-8 first round and then come back and win a fight like that. How do you prepare for what you're getting yourself into with a matchup like that?
You know, like I was saying, Jay's tough, gritty opponent. That's always somebody difficult to deal with. You know, if you're dealing with somebody who's extremely polished, but doesn't have that mindset, you know, if the fight starts going bad, it snowballs quite quickly, and then you get success quite easily. You know, with him, it's kind of the opposite. You can start hot, but you have to be able to maintain it. So for me, the entire fight, I just need to stay focused and on. There's no point where I can relax or think I have it in the bag, because he's looking to win. You know, it is at any point possible. Just like myself in the Bryce fight, you know, it was coming down to the wire, and I had to do something. And I know Jay's going to be looking for the same thing. If it's not going his way, he's going to look for something to pull out last minute. So I just need to stay on the entire time and stay focused.
Choice, what win a choice, what win a choice, what win a choice, what went into choosing fighting over using your degree?
You know, it was my passion, you know, and also I knew where I was just career-wise and life-wise. I haven't started a family. My girlfriend and I just moved to Ireland, and so we're able to pursue selfishly, you know, your dream. Not many people have that opportunity to go full into what they really want to do. I knew I could be a good engineer, maybe a great engineer, but I definitely knew, and I wanted to be a great fighter. So I went that route, and if it failed, I can always go back to engineering. That was my thought. You know, if this failed, if I moved to Ireland and had to move back in 2 months because we ran out of money and it just wasn't going well, we could always go back to where we started and rebuild and then take another stab at it. But you know, since going there in November, the tryouts came up in December, and it's been, now I'm here talking in front of a big group of cameras. It's crazy.
Coming out of SBG, there's a lot of fighters in SBG who are very good at promoting themselves and dealing with situations such as this. Have they been of any help to you to prepare for this week and dealing with the media attention and getting yourself out there as an athlete?
You know, I have talked with some of the guys, James and Artem. It's not like I have a one-on-one talk with Connor, but I talked briefly with some of the guys, and you know, it's just something. Well, I'm just going to come out here and be myself. That's what I want to be, and I hope the fans appreciate it. I know I'm getting a lot of love and support online, and it really means a lot. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm just coming out here and being me, and hopefully that can resonate with the fans. And you know, so far I think it's been doing fairly well, and you know, if I need to adapt down the line, I will, and start doing the Kobe Covington. That probably won't go over well, but I'm not nearly quick enough to do any of the Connor trash talking or anything like that. But you know, I'm just coming out here, being me, and enjoying the ride.
How often is Connor in the gym?
That's a tough question. I don't see him that much. I go for my practices and then I jet over there. So you know, I trust he's working away. You know, you see the videos online of him putting in work all the time. So you know, he does him. Like when I'm at that point, you know, I can get all my training partners around me. But right now I go to the set team practices and do my conditioning on my time. And I'm not necessarily looking around the gym. I have my glasses off, so I can't see much anyway. So,
John had some logistical issues coming from the airport to the hotel. He tweeted about it this week. Was that all taken care of?
Yeah, I believe it's all taken care of. I haven't talked to John personally yet. He got in yesterday, I believe, and he just flew from China, so he's been all jet lagged. But I have had Artem and Blaine, two good training partners. With Richie and I, so you know, we're in good hands, and I think he was just recovering from the trip. And you know, like I said, I haven't talked to him, but I'm pretty sure by the sounds of it, everything was taken care of.
What's it like having Richie on the card? I know a lot of the times when someone has a training partner that loses earlier in the night, not to say that he will, it can get into someone's head. Is that something that you are concerned about at all?
I'm not concerned over it. I fought with training partners on the same card as myself before, you know. I think he's early enough in the card itself that, and even if he wasn't, if he was right before me, I deal with it. You know, it's just a matter of, I've been in that position before where training partners have come back and lost. You just stay cued in, and that's it. It doesn't really bother you. It bothers you after that they lost, but at the time, you know, you're just, fighting's a selfish sport, you know, so you're going out there, it's all about you.
John's won world titles, I guess, with Connor, but they still haven't, I guess, in SBG won the Tough Trophy yet. Is that a big motivation for you to take that back to Ireland and, I guess, put it in the gym?
You know, it's an extra motivation. It's not the key thing motivating me. The key thing motivating me is to get that title for myself. That goes down in history as the Tough 27, you know, featherweight winner. I want that title. They announce it, you know, from a championship fight when Tony fights, and all the way through it, you know. So I want that title, I want that stamp, and especially being the first Canadian to win a regular season of Tough, you know, I want that in history as well.